Alright, you might hear a slight echo. I'm trying to see how I sound really quick. Trying to see how I sound. Hear me good? You might hear a slight echo. I'm trying to see how I sound really quick. Okay. How I sound. Hear me good? You might hear a slight echo. Okay. I really wish I could change that. Let's see here. Just so I can kind of hear myself. Are you all getting like a feedback loop? I probably should have paused the mic when I did that. Okay, 1 second. It sounds like it's buzzing on my end, but I want to make sure. Okay, how is this sounding? Okay, he's giving me a slight delay. Okay, how is this sounding? Okay, this sounds a little better. Okay. Okay, make sure it wasn't all that feedback going on. Okay. So, wait, did the sound just cut off for me? It's still saying it's reading. Okay, is it still saying it's reading? Okay, I don't know. It buffered for a minute there. I didn't hear anything, but sorry, let me see. It's like cutting in and out for whatever reason. I'm not sure what's going on, but I am going to try to move forward just in case if it is actually picking everything up like it should. Um, so hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is going to be me doing a general reading for the month of May, but I figured because of all the things that's kind of been going on, I don't know if anybody, doom scroll like I do, or just, been hearing all of the crazy things that's kind of been going on. I felt it would be good to do some shadow work reading for the month of May, especially since now we're coming out of the whole solar eclipse and we've done the Mercury's in retrograde until May 14th. And then we also have hold on 1 second, I'm just checking my sounds again. Okay. And then we also have we've heard things of like people accidentally killed and stuff like that, and SpaceX just blew up yesterday. I think they was launching something and it didn't go off. It didn't, blast off as it was supposed to, whatever. But failure is learning. So yeah, just with all of that, I figure it would be good to kind of just get into that and read on that. So with all of that being said, I have already picked 4 different piles here from you to choose from for the month of May. You can choose pile 1, 2, 3, or 4, whichever one that resonates with you. This is going to be dealing with like any kind of negative feelings, or if you're downplaying yourself, or if there's something you are refusing to pay attention to, just all of those kind of like shadow trends that we tend to kind of like overlook day to day, or we tend to not pay attention to because we feel like it's bad for us to kind of tap into that. But it all plays a major part into our overall health at the end of the day, of just kind of knowing, you know, balancing everything out with the light, with shadow and light, high vibrations and low vibrations. You need those shadow pieces too. And once you know that about yourself and you're fully accepting of yourself, it just helps you move forward, you know, in life. So it gives you some good a good starting point and gives you all of those potential matters. So now with that, just kind of want to turn this down because I still gotta hear myself. I know that sounded very narcissistic, but I just really have to hear myself really quick just to make sure it's okay. Um, so I think you should have enough time to pick one. So in the meantime, I'm going to slide these three out the way. Yes. And we are going to do pile one. Okay. And so pile one, let's see what your card is. You have the fish. So if you don't practice, oh wait, I just noticed there was another card flipped over in this deck. I don't know if I should pull it out, but I'm gonna leave that to the side. Sorry, I was looking at the Lenormand. But I don't know if any of you practice with the Lenormand decks, but if you don't know what the fish is, I'm going to read it off to you. Let's see here. I had to find the book really quick. Let's see, can you see that there? So the fish, it says in a reading, the fish is freedom, independence, flexibility, and a sense of laissez-faire and free flow. It can also be talking about plenty, bounty, abundance, and a lot of something depending on the cards close to it. So the Lenormand system, you typically want to do not just one card, you typically want to pull two because that'll help you kind of determine exactly what the messaging is. You shouldn't just pull one. But I'm gonna also lift this a little closer for you so you kind of see the detail there of like the fish. Of course, for some of you, this may make you think of Pisces as well. But yeah, again, a sense of freedom. So maybe there's been some kind of restriction there, or maybe you have kind of been very selfish, and selfish is not always a bad thing. Um, but again, we're going to get into this and see why you have the fish. Look at this, more resting. So I don't know if you've seen that before, it flew off stream, but you have the Four of Swords, more resting, more replenishment. Let's see here. And you do have a couple of other cards that kind of flipped out here. I'm going to pull these. You also had the Malik of Swords. You have the Eight of Cups. I don't know, did it just freeze for you guys? It freeze on my end. It kind of froze on my end here. So if you see me just kind of waiting, it's because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, and then you also have the Six of Cups in reverse. Okay, so it looks like it picked up on your end. I don't know why on my end it's showing like it's lagging, but I'm gonna move forward because it looks like it picked up on your end. Um, so yeah. So now that we have all of these together, so yes, there's more rest. There's more like leaving something maybe from your past that you're trying to go back to, that you put to the side. The Malik of Swords. I'm wondering why you would get the Malik of Swords, especially with you kind of getting it in reverse. I wonder, is this like, because typically when I see the swords and stuff like that, I usually think of people who are very like intellectual. They think big picture. But with this, it makes me think like maybe you're too focused on like the day to day things and like letting that weigh you down. Instead of like thinking long term. I think there may be something from your past that's kind of like kept you restricted or restrained in some kind of sort of way. Maybe it could be you. Um, yeah, and you do have a lot of cups. There's a lot of water here when you think about that you have the fish and then you have both the eight and the six of cups. Um, so yeah, it just makes me think of like there's some things here. Maybe there was some past trauma maybe that you have tried to downplay that you probably should actually pay more attention to, that you should be focusing on, that you should probably be working through right now, during this whole shadow work time. Let's see. What was your underlying energy here? Funny enough, you have the Sultan, um, which is Emperor energy in reverse. So maybe there's some things here again of you kind of like not. Oh wait, I actually have that in camera. Of you not taking charge and moving forward. I feel like I've kind of had this come up a couple times when I do general readings for people of kind of like let like letting life happen to you instead of you kind of like making demands, and not just, and I don't mean like being what's the word, like controlling, but just kind of being the person that's kind of like, I know my worth. Like it feels like to me like you downplay your worth a lot. Like you don't, you know, you should be getting paid, I don't know, $25 an hour, but you're accepting a job that pays you like 20 or $18 an hour because you don't know your worth, or you're like letting people downplay you because you're like, well, I really like the humanitarian aspect of my job, so I'm okay with taking the pay cut if I can actually do the because it makes me feel good kind of thing. That's kind of my payment. And yes, that's nice. That can be a good thing, but it also could be a detriment. How can you continue to put good and be high vibration if you aren't getting paid enough to kind of like sustain and build for yourself? And so that's kind of like the overall energy that I'm getting for you all here. Let's see if there's going to be anything else that's going to come out about this Malik of Swords. It's really the only one I have more questions about for you. Oh, and then I know I seen the sun. Oh no, that was the disc. Sorry. What I said earlier, there was something about you not being paid enough, not knowing self-worth. And then you also have, these are some other ones that flipped over. I'm not gonna put these out, but you did get the Malika of Cups. Maybe I should put it out. Let me see here. I'm gonna move this over really quick. You had the Malika of Cups. Yep, it all fits. You had the Four of Discs. Yep. This is all sounding like money issues. Whether it's you not being paid what you are owed, whether you are not paying people what they are owed because you are being miserly, or there's, you know, some kind of business aspect that you are not adequately giving yourself in time to because you're too busy looking at everything else, so to speak. You're looking at the smaller things. You're looking at all the little nitpicky things instead of just being like, okay, well, I don't need to focus on that right now. And it kind of seems like it may be anxiety driven because of you probably not having control of something in your past, maybe. So let's see here. We're gonna get more into this. Should I use? I don't feel like I should. Yeah. not going to count that, but I am going to count this. Necessity, focus, transition. You're steady kind of getting this transition card. Freedom, something that you need to be setting yourself free from. I'm surprised you don't have like the Tower or the Death card come up for you when I initially pulled the tarot cards, because this kind of feels like that kind of energy, like a rebirth, a change, and one that you don't allow to happen, or you kind of just don't make it happen. Life is going to make it happen for you. You also have mediation, communication, and culture here as well for you. So maybe there's also some things of like, again, where I was saying earlier, of you not addressing or speaking to people, communicating your needs, your wants for people, you kind of downplaying things. It could also be something culturally wise that you may just like, I know I'll say, traditionally, women downplay their self-worth, or, I won't get paid as much because they're used to being the caretakers, they're used to carrying things in the back, or at least people who sit in the kind of like that feminine energy, or feminine presenting, I would say, kind of sitting that energy of just, I don't mind doing the hard work and the labor, and or just being used to like doing the hard labor, the hard work without being adequately paid for it. But yes, that's the way I want to say it. So let's see if we're gonna get one more card here. And then you also have corruption and malice. So this kind of just feels like a warning to me. Like if you don't address the underpayment, the anxiety that you're exhibiting in your life, you're going to start being malicious. You're going to start, kind of your envy, your jealousy, your anger about things is going to start presenting to people in a very toxic way. So I think it's best that you kind of address all of that before it's too late. How am I sounding? Let me check this again. Okay, let me see. I have myself kind of low. Okay. And so let's see with the dark mirror, kind of like what will help you with dealing with your shadow self. What is some energies that you need to be tapping into? And we got a card. Oh, obsession. What have you really been wanting that you feel like you don't deserve? That's really kind of like the overall theme here. What is something you have really wanted that you couldn't even imagine yourself having now? You've kind of given up that hope, that dream of ever obtaining it. You've put it to the side. You've thrown it away. You're focusing on being like very practical now. You're not being the visionary that you used to be. You're not being the daydreamer that you used to be. You kind of just like giving up on it, it feels like. And look at this. Envious gluttony. And it seems like you're starting to resent people who up and triumph of lives. Yeah. But to me this just kind of reads like you're starting to resent the people who live the life that you wish you had, or who's in the field that you wish you had, or is living in the house that you wanted, driving that car, in that job position that you wanted, and you're like, well, I could have did it. And it's like, yeah, you probably could be in that same position, but you didn't step up and claim it for yourself. You didn't feel like you deserved it. So wherever I would say misstep, or belief that you have around you not being deserving of this dream that you always wanted that you haven't obtained yet. It's not too late. You can still change that. So to me, it just seems that yes, there is some slight rewiring that you have to kind of do for yourself, pile one, of not feeling like you have to be boxed in. It's really kind of like the word that's coming to mind. You kind of put yourself into this box and put yourself in this corner and feel like you can't maneuver out of it. And at the end of the day, you are your biggest enemy. So yeah. And look at that. Duty is the word for me. Um, there's something that you feel like you need to do in order to me, the thing that's coming across to me, it feels like there's something you feel like you need to do for the sake of your family, and it's at the expense of your happiness, of yourself, of your comfort, of your happiness. So those are the shadow aspects that I'm getting for you all, pile one. um yeah, I would say the best thing for this is you start taking little steps at a time of just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna reserve an hour every day for myself. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's just sitting here resting and not being bothered. I don't care if it's sitting here for an hour and binge watching a show. I don't care if it's sitting here for an hour and enjoying a glass of wine and a good book. I don't care if it's sitting here for an hour scrolling YouTube, watching your favorite YouTube person. Whatever that hour is, if it's an hour walking, taking a minute and strolling out in nature, start taking those baby steps of like, okay, I'm gonna every day for an hour, I'm gonna do something for myself, and start, enacting those boundaries, putting up those boundaries that'll kind of start helping you reclaim some of your individuality, your um it's another word I was thinking of, but just kind of like claiming your purpose and finding who you are again, so you can work your way back to, you know, being that daydreamer that you are. So yeah, start standing up in your power, for sure, power one. Like, you have it. Stop, being afraid of probably pissing someone off or feeling like you won't be able to have what you want. Maybe you won't have it in the way you imagined, but I think it'll come to you if you work on it. So yeah. And with that, Power One, I am going to move on to Power Two. I hope this helps. I hope this kind of gets you started through the month of May on kind of like where you need to reflect, maybe start journaling on some things, looking at some shadow aspects of yourself, and digging a little deeper. Start asking people to give back to you instead of you always being the giving party. So wish you luck. Like, comment, and subscribe for my next video. I usually try to go live once a week. So yeah, and with that, I am going to move on to Pal 2. Okay, make sure it still look good. It feels like the camera is so zoomed out with the Lenormands. They look itty bitty. But anyways, so Pal 2, you have something dealing with a man. Usually when I see the hearts, especially because of this one, because it has the water in the back, this makes me think of a man who is probably like a Cancer, a Pisces, or a Scorpio. Or as one lady on a TikTok said, a Spices. So yeah, this is something dealing with a man. Maybe it's you standing in your masculine energy. Maybe you are someone who also resonated with Power 2 from Power 1, because most of the information that I was giving Power 1 was kind of like, stepping into that kind of like masculine energy of being more demanding, setting those boundaries, going after what you want, taking the initiative, being independent. So maybe Power 1, you resonate with Power 2 as well. Maybe Power 2, you resonate with Power 1. I don't know. We're gonna look into that a bit more. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's something, either you kind of like, um, either not, I feel like it could go a couple ways. Either you not kind of loving yourself the way you show love for other people, or it could also be just stepping into your masculine energy. This is why with Lenormand you always need a second card, because it helps. But anyways, we're going to pull these tarots here. We're going to get into the tarots of the Moors. I like how they tried to flip over there. Okay, and that is 3 cards there. So let's see, you have the Strength card, that reads masculine energy to me. The 8 of Swords, kind of being underhand, trickiness, mischievous, short-sighted. It can also be of just kind of like trying to take the easy way out, etc., etc. And then you also have the 6 of Discs. Usually when I see the 6 of Discs, it's kind of like gearing up. So usually when I see the 7 of Discs, I think of things of like, this kind of like laying down the groundwork of getting things done. The 6 of Discs is kind of like planning things out, squirreling away. Okay, well, I'm probably going to need this much money for this, and I'm probably going to need this much money for that. So it seems to me like maybe you're trying to take some kind of shortcut here, and you're not standing in your integrity, maybe, to get to where you want to be. So then you also have you're being a fool if you think that this easy way is going to be the way for you to go. Yep. I don't know how you pronounce this. The juggler. I'm going to say the juggler. So yeah, it seems like you're kind of trying to take the easy way out of this, and you'll be a fool too. You're going to have to just stand up in that. Let's see what you're trying to take a shortcut about, though. I love when the cards fall and then I have to scrape them up and my nails just won't let me be great. They didn't flip over, so that's the only reason why I'm not counting those. There we go. Yep. Look at that. Short-sightedness, ambition, and narcissism. This ties in very well with the 8 of Swords for me. Just because of, again, the short-sightedness. You obviously have the drive. You kind of have the plan. You're like, I know where I want to go, and I don't care if I had to be underhanded to get there. But I think it'll come back and bite you in the foot. To, bite you in, I can't say the other one. Gotta stay PG on here. You also have healing. I don't know if you see that. Graciousness and acceptance. The ages, the light and the darkness. That card also makes me think of like karmic energy too. And then you have, justice, truth, duty. You have this in reverse. Somebody's kind of like not standing up in their character. Up, fame, stagnation, and pride. And then you already have, and then you do have the strength card here in reverse. So maybe it is you're being too prideful. Every single time I see the strength card, of course, you know, most people, that is Leo, that is the sun, that can also be just very self-centered, very prideful. It could be narcissistic. Um, I, as much as people try to make narcissism be such a bad thing, I think there is some light aspects to being a narcissism, and I think we also use that word a little too lightly. Some people are not narcissists; they are just taking care of themselves. They're in their stingy era. Wow, why did that just start playing out of nowhere all loud? Sorry if you heard that; it kind of like echo. Um, but yes, this is starting to come together here for you all, pile two. I think there's some work here of you kind of just, maybe you are thinking you are bigger than what you thought. Like, it's good that you love yourself. It's good that you love yourself. It's good that you have the drive, that you have the confidence. But I think it's you're the sun, but it's, I think it's also kind of casting a blind spot on you of just like, there are other suns out here. Some of them are bigger than you. I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, that's kind of like the energy is giving me of kind of you, and all of these are really, yeah. Well, except for the strength card, all of these are very masculine too. So maybe there's some, hopefully not. Maybe there's a lot of maybe there's too much masculinity in your life, and maybe you need to soften up a bit and kind of, or you know, kind of step into that feminine energy a little bit. You need to kind of like pull back on some of the masculine traits that you're exhibiting. Because let's see here. Again, ooh, as I say that, look at what's underneath the pile: martyr, honesty, shame, restitution. So, yeah. Not that you have to become a martyr, but maybe it's time for you to kind of, well, maybe it is asking you to be a martyr. You know, kind of, maybe it's time for you to start sacrificing some things of yourself, for the greater good of others. Maybe it's time to let somebody else kind of be in the spotlight. Maybe it's time to boost someone else up. Maybe you should be the one to kind of speak the love language of, what is that one for? Um, not, it's not gifts, but the like kind of like that love language where you are making things easier for the other person by doing something. I can't think of it right now, but yeah. Atonement. You have to answer for something. Then you get this, yeah, justice card. Something that you're not answering for. Was this something sneaky that you did in the past that you have some karma that has yet to kind of been repaid? And then you also, why is all of yours coming up in reverse? Wow. Okay. And then you also have hiding your true self. I don't think you're hiding your true self, though. I think you are being your true self. I think you're not allowing others to be their true self. What are you angry about, Pal 2? You got revenge for the underlying card here. I wonder if this is a thing of like you experienced some kind of defeat, loss, hurt in the past. And now the shadow form of you is kind of, in order to protect that softer side of you, that hurt side of you, you've kind of leaned too far to the right and stepped into a lot of like, basically like you've become the wolf in sheep's clothing, to kind of just hide that softer side of you, to avoid being hurt. So now you've kind of just stepped into like, you know, I'm a boss. I say what I say. I demand what I want. Never like expressing your feelings. Like you, it kind of reads like emotionally constipated. Maybe it's also a thing of just like being very selfish, and you're not being open. Is kind of like the energy that I'm picking up on. Maybe that's kind of like what you've been dealing with, pile too. And in doing so, you're just pretty much hurting yourself. And I think there is a thing of like, there is beauty and being soft and resting in your laurels of being, I don't want to say feminine, but kind of just, there's a beauty in kind of just being, of laying low, of just letting other people kind of take the stage, of you not being in the center, of kind of like not retreating, but just not always feeling like, oh, you have to say something or be on somebody's head right then and there. Just like, yeah, you probably clocked them lying or whatever, but you can always just use that for later. Just be like, yeah, okay, well, I know they were lying, but I can always use that for, to get back at them later. Just be like, okay, well, you're lying, and this is what we really should do. Like, you don't have to be so confrontational or mean or act like you have to get your lick back right then and there. Like, sometimes let the universe handle things, because it'll do it better than you ever could. So pile two, that's kind of like the messaging I'm getting for you. It's kind of step back, pull back from all the masculine energy that you are presenting. I just noticed something. Put that back on there. I don't know if it's going to show up, but yes, I just noticed something. It was not on there. But yeah, it just kind of gives me like, you need to pull back from a lot of the masculine energy that you are presenting. Kind of feels like it's whether you are male or female, it just kind of feels like you have stepped a lot into a lot of toxic masculinity, and maybe it's time for you to kind of just be like, nope, let's tap into your emotions. Let's tap into your feels. Let's tap into your passions. Let down your guard. Stop being defensive. Stop being, overprotective. Stop being unruly. And so guarded. And you probably can have the life that you want or that you need right now in order to move forward. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for you, Power 2. Hopefully this kind of gives you a starting point to where you need to be, or kind of like working on for your shadow work for the month of May, so that you can kind of set yourself up for greater things. Hopefully, May goes well for you in kind of tackling this. It's not going to be done in a day. Hell, it may not even be done at the end of May, but at least you kind of know where you should start, so that you can kind of get yourself to the other side and kind of being, again, more in alignment with your whole self and not just your shadow self. Because there's power in knowing that your ugly sides as well as your good sides. And so with that, Pile 2, thank you for joining me and for being here for the reading. If you resonate with Pile 3 or 4, please stay tuned. I'm going to get to those. If not, this is where you're going to click off at. Thank you for coming. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share for more videos. And I'm going to move on to Pile 3. Okay, so let's see here. So, Pile 3, how are you today? Well, night if you're like in the same time zone I am. But anyways, Pile 3, you have the clouds. So again, if you do not work with the Lenormand deck, it's typically best to pull 2 cards with these so you can get a better understanding on what the first card meant. But in this instance, typically clouds deal with kind of like things that are obscure, things that are hidden. Kind of think of the moon card in the Rider-Waite-Smith system. It just kind of thinks of, things that's undercover, things that are hidden, things that have yet to be revealed. It could be, some kind of blockage. What else? Yeah, that's typically what the clouds mean, the cloud covers. But again, because of the Lenormand system, the way that works, you usually want to pull another card with it. But instead of doing that, I am just going to go straight in and start doing the tarot to get more information on why you have the clouds. one flips over in here. Yep. Oh, look at that, the Tower. It says the fall of Grenada and the terror of Moors, but this translates into the Tower. If you don't know what the Tower card means, it typically means kind of like abrupt change, a change that is going to happen whether you're ready for it or not. It could also just typically speak to structures, but in this case, I don't think that's what it is for you since we're doing a shadow reading. But you also did get the Nine of Discs in reverse. So the Nine of Discs usually for me, it speaks to kind of just like independence, self-awareness. It could speak to personal wealth, abundance. What's another one? To me, kind of like the Nine of Discs kind of reads like the upright of the wheel, or yeah, the Wheel of Fortune. Let's see here. With these coming out together, though, it makes me wonder if there is going to be a mishap here with after this Tower moment of you kind of just like being codependent or something. Oh, and then you also have the Knight of Wands. You have a lot of nines here. So the Nine of Wands usually speaks to being kind of like over encumbered. You're ready to put things down and walk away from it. You are, it could also be like you're almost at the finish line, but you're not quite there yet. So with this Nine of Discs, it kind of just makes me feel like maybe there's a partnership that needs to happen in order for you to kind of like get to the other side of it that you have been refusing to kind of deal with. Tough decisions, the Two of Swords. And it's in the reverse. So it's definitely a decision that needs to be made that you aren't making. That's probably what's going to lead to this Tower moment. And if you don't end up making a decision, you're going to see this may have something to do with this could really deal with like home life, because usually when you have the Wands, it deals with like things that's like your passion, your creativity and things of like that. Also could be communication. Then you have the Nine of Discs, will also deal with the material world. Material world. I should have not did that. But yes, it makes me think like maybe there's some. And then with the clouds being here too, like there's some kind of tough decision that needs to be made that you aren't making, or that you're not trying to make. You're not trying to look deeper into it, or maybe it's something you haven't seen it yet, but it's coming in with the clouds. Maybe it's something that's kind of blowing in now. It's going to be something that's going to kind of blow in, pick up your life. You're going to have to struggle to be independent by yourself, kind of stepping out there, and it's going to just kind of like, I feel like it's going to kind of impact you. It's going to impact your passion or your zest for life kind of thing. But let's see here. Why do we have this Tower card here for you? Lilith, Thief of Life. Yeah. So this could be something. So it makes me really want to say that maybe there's some mental struggles here, and I want to say something like anxiety, depression, some kind of mental trauma maybe that's keeping you here. Lilith reads hunger, animalism, instinct. This caught on my finger, so I feel like I should read it. Rest. It's funny, this comes out independence on top of the Nine of Discs. Keeper of the Crossroads, appraisal, restlessness, independence. So is there some fear of kind of like moving on here for you, Pile 3? Are you kind of like holding on to something? Are you staying stationary somewhere because, I don't know, maybe you've gotten comfortable in the position that you're in? or maybe you don't like where you are, but just kind of like mentally you have kept yourself there, kept yourself trapped, if that makes sense. And then you have a couple cards fall out here at the end. So Hades was in reverse, which he's the Lord of Riches, equanimity, wisdom, inevitability. Inevitability is going to happen. Hope, incompleteness, yearning, eternal servitor. And then, well, hold on, wait, let me, so you can kind of see these. Because I know some people like to see all of the cards that they get. Or at least like the main components here. Yeah, I read Internal Servitor, and then you got Osiris, commitment, acquisition, responsibility. This kind of ties into this Nine of Disc in reverse. There's some responsibility, there's some commitment that has to be done that you are obviously avoiding, you're not wanting to do. And let's see here, what was your underlying energy? This Justice card has come out, I think, in every pile just about right now for the night. It just makes me think like, yeah, there's some judgment that's going to happen here. And I don't mean of kind of like the judicial system. I mean of just kind of like spiritual judgment here, of kind of like, what's your weight? Is your heart heavier or lighter than the feather? It just reads that. What's the worth of your life right now? Do you think it's even worth it? Okay, I didn't even form it all the way. Thank you, Atonement. We get it. Okay, I just seen some cards flip over in this pile, and I feel like they're gonna come out. What is this? Today for tomorrow. Let me see if I get one more card here. Sacrifice. Yeah, talk about shadow work. Okay, pile 3. And what was your underlying energy? The child I was meant to be. I feel like this should have came out for pile 2, but I digress. Yeah, and then you also have Queen of My World, Masquerade. So obviously you have been faking the funk about something. I don't know what this persona, this body, this archetype that you've put kind of like encased yourself in, but you're gonna have to come out of it. And if you don't, I think life is gonna make you. With this Tower card here, you do have a lot of spiritual, I would say, justice is kind of coming in for you as well. So maybe there is something spiritually that you need to answer for. I don't know if maybe pile 3, there's a practice, some kind of spiritual practice that you have been neglecting, avoiding, or maybe that you haven't really tapped into yet, that you probably need to be tapping into for the month of May, just to kind of get started with your shadow work. I think that is something that's coming in for you. There, again, you do have this commitment here, the sacrifice. I think there's something in your physical life, your material life that you're going to have to let go. I don't know if it's something like that cushy job that you have, that home, maybe it's something with that relationship. It could be something with maybe you need to change locations that you're in. It's something in your, material wise that you're going to have to kind of like let go in order to move forward, to kind of get to that next transition level in your life here. Yeah, it's funny, you also do have that 7 there on that sacrifice card. 7 usually speaks to with the 7 and the 9s here, because you did have the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Disc in reverse as well. Those are like big transition numbers for me. That means like you're at the precipice. It's now or never. Are you gonna take that leap or not? And depending on what you choose, you're gonna have to lie in that bed. So hopefully you make the right choice, even if in that moment it may not even feel like the right choice because you're like, this freaking sucks. But you know, you can't always expect to have glory without going through the pain that, or you know, without going through the hard work. How are you going to appreciate what you have at the end of the tunnel if you didn't have to really work for it? Unfortunately, humans are wired that way. You just don't appreciate the things you have when it's like right there in front of you. And that could be something for you, Power 3, of like you have something in your life right now that people probably would kill for, but you don't appreciate it because you've kind of just grown um desensitized to it. And so now it's kind of like, okay, well, we're going to take you back. I'm going to break you down and take you back to ground zero. I don't know exactly what that is in your life, obviously, because I have the clouds here. That's something you're going to have to contact your spiritual team about, or, you know, contact your higher self and look inwards. But I think there is some things here that you're going to have to like let go of if you want to get to where you want to be. I think there is some I think for some of you, there is some adult qualities or ways of thinking that you're going to have to let go and kind of tap into that more um, kind of like childlike manner. You're going to have to kind of revisit your childhood kind of thing. The, you know, when was the last time you were happy kind of thing. You'll probably realize, oh, it was when I was like 5 or 6 years old or something like that. This could also speak to maybe a childhood wound as well that you probably need to deal with. I'm not sure. I'm not really getting a clear descriptor on that. But again, like I said, there is definitely something here in your material, your physical life that you are going to have to kind of like sacrifice or give up or confront in order for you to kind of level up and move forward to, you know, be better in alignment within yourself. Power 3. I don't think there was anything else here because I read all of the underlying energies, right? Yeah. So yeah, there's something here you just kind of like to have to answer for. And I think you're going to see a lot of the things that you've kind of been wanting to call in or kind of manifest or that you want to happen. You'll kind of see those come in once you deal with that. I'm interested to know kind of what you haven't been wanting to do, because again, with the 9 of this, that's usually, especially with it being in reverse, they usually speaks to kind of like codependency. And this doesn't kind of feel like codependent energy for me, but I don't know you. It could be whatever it is that you have. So yeah. Hopefully that helps you, Power 3. Kind of get started on your shadow work, kind of start journaling, looking inward for the month of May. Is there anything else that's going to be coming up here? I don't think there is anything else that's coming up. So with that, Power 3, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos so I know that what you like. In the meantime, I'm going to move on to the final and last pile, Pile 4, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Let's see here. Because I usually get these dark mirror oracles mixed up with the Mausoleas, so I have to be careful. Even though the artwork and stuff is very different, the backs kind of like, if you do a quick glance, you'll get them mixed up. So I have to be careful about that. Alright, so pile 4. Alright, so pile 4. Okay, so you have the, this is not the garden. I want to say it's the paths. Hold on, I have to check and be sure. Oh, nope, I already pulled the book out. I want to say it's either the paths. I don't remember what the 4 was. I don't pull. Oh, house. Okay, so since I already got it out, let me just read the house. So the house reads, the house is your home, your family, your people, and your entourage. When the house comes up, it brings a feel of stability to the reading, like a form of security and comfort. It could also be talking about property or actual real estate. Context is everything. So again, like I said earlier, this usually with the Lenormand system, you usually have to pull two cards because it helps you define better on what the overall energies is. So, but instead of doing that, I'm going to jump in with the tarot and we're going to look into that. But because this is a shadow reading, I'm feeling like the shadow work here is probably something dealing with your family life here. That was way too many cards I flipped over. Okay, let's get into this. Why does one pile fours have the home card, the house card? Oh, look at that, the lovers. The lovers, you have the two of swords in reverse and the seven of swords in reverse. You see how he's like walking away? There's something in your home life that you need to leave behind, that you need to walk away from. You also have the Eight of Wands in reverse, so maybe this is something, usually the Eight of Wands in the upright means something that's coming in quickly, that's ever evolving. It also speaks to kind of like mental fortitude is the word I kind of want to say. But with this being in reverse, it makes you wonder if there's a lack of mental strength or dexterity that you aren't exhibiting right now. And with the Seven of Swords, so with the lovers here, and you have the Two of Swords and the Seven of Swords, it makes you feel like this is a very tough decision for you to make, obviously, to walk away from. And you just kind of like are not in the mental space to deal with it, essentially. Power force. Instead of using that, let's see, why is this lovers card here for you? Yep, here we go. A mirror of this. So is this kind of, I hope it's not something like financial abuse is the word that came to mind, but I hope it's not something like that. Maybe it's just a lot of money that is tied into this partnership. So maybe this is something dealing with, it doesn't always have to be romantic. When you see the lovers, it could also be somebody that's kind of like your business partner. So maybe there's a business endeavor or job, building, property, whatever, etc., that you have merged with somebody and sinking a lot of money into, and now that things are kind of like on the, things aren't looking too good. They're not on the up and up right now. You are finding it hard to kind of like navigate that separation, how to move away from that. So, yeah. Oh, what was the underlying energy? And then the Eight of Wands come up in the upright. Remember last time it was in reverse. Interesting. Confirmation. Let's see here. My dog keeps snorting at me. He's ready to go to sleep. I get it. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so that's it. It's official. The Justice card has come out, and the Mausolea deck has come out for every pile. It's revealing some truths here for everybody. It's dropping some truth bombs. Because it's definitely been coming out for everybody. Oh, look at that. Morgan Le Fay. You have atonement, growth, deceit. Sometimes that Seven of Swords could deal with that as well. Kind of makes me think of assassin. Because that's going to be off the screen. Let me pull this down. It's kind of going to be off. But whatever. So you can kind of see. So yeah, there's some atonement here to be made. So maybe, I don't know, because I don't know you like that, but just kind of like tapping into this energy, it could be a thing of either you have been the underhanded, conniving, sneaky party, or maybe the other person that is involved in this union, whether it is a business or a marriage one, that has been the deceitful party that is making things hard for you to move forward. And can I get one last card for my power force? So Lilith just came out with Power 3 earlier too. Hunger, animalism, instinct. And your underlying energy is, this came up for somebody too, for their underlying energy. I want to say, was it Power 2? Healing, graciousness, acceptance. So maybe there is some acceptance you need to do with this relationship in your life, this communion, this unity that you have. Again, this Justice card has come out for just about everybody for the night. I wonder if let's see here. Let's see. I don't remember what the book says for this one. I typically try to not use the books, to be honest. But let's see. So let's get into it. We have, oh, look at that. Abraham. Known for his wisdom and his dedication to justice and truth in both life and death, the once mortal Abraham is a judge of pandemonium. He can see, though, any falsity or subterfuge and determine the worthiness or unworthiness of those who come before his court. Although he arrived in the afterlife ragged, broken, and stripped of himself, that which was most real in himself persevered. His moral integrity, his dedication to justice and duty, his personal honor. Abraham shows us the truth of our temporal selves, what in us is worth keeping, balanced against what is unworthy of our future self, and best abandoned in the waste. I think that sums up everyone's power tonight. Your shadow self is, what do you need to let go of, or what do you need to face? What do you need to accept about yourself in order for you to move forward in the best way possible? What's your line of integrity? What is shadow and dark you, kind of like meeting in the middle? So yeah, that explains why he's coming up for everybody's pile tonight. We're doing a shadow reading, obviously. So yeah, there is some atonement here that you have to do. There is some balancing of this, some rebalancing of the scales is going to happen. That's been pretty much for everyone. But again, this is something dealing with your personal life. I don't know, again, if this is dealing with a business or when it deals with your romantic home life, family. But there is some work here that has to be done, or maybe that you need to pay attention to that you haven't addressed. There's something, maybe it's something of kind of like breaking a familiar curse or something like that along those lines. And let's see. Gotta move these boxes before I knock something all over the place, and then it's cards everywhere. So let's see if how the dark mirrors are gonna kind of like help you get through this. What do you need to see, set, move forward from? Yeah, okay, that's another thing too. Yep, sorry, message came through. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the story, or at least the common story that we're told traditionally about Lilith and Morgan. I know for me, I'm more familiar with Lilith, but she was a woman who was originally supposed to be the first wife of Adam, and then she wouldn't like submit or conform to him, and so she either left or was banished from the Garden of Eden, and then God later made Eve. She's also known as the first. It's, oh my God, what is that culture? She's also known as like the first. mother of demons or something like that. I think in that Mesopotamia, I think something like that. So yeah, so she's like known as the mother of demons, etc., etc., blah blah. And then also Morgan Le Fay, if you do the story of King Arthur, you know, white people's greatest hits. I want to say she was originally the person that Arthur liked, or she liked Arthur. I don't know, correct me. And then she ended up being turning into something evil. So it kind of makes me think of spurned woman, or woman scorned. So, and we did get the lover's card here in the home. So maybe there is something here in your romantic life that you are choosing not to confront. Maybe you feel like you are undeserving of unconditional love, of true or real love here. Um, yeah, that maybe there's some kind of truth that you are facing. Maybe there's a lie that you are living in your marriage, and performing that you have some kind of perfect marriage when it really isn't. And that has been weighing on you. Maybe you are in some kind of toxic family situation, relationship, etc., that you are dealing with power for, that you have yet to confront. And it's being called on you to kind of deal with that or start taking steps in dealing with that. So, yeah, that was the other message that was coming through. Let's see here. That was way too many cards. But because these two stuck up here on the table, I'm gonna. Yeah, to me, this reads like some people would say delusion, but I think it's just like, you know, once we're humans are very good at being conditioned to adjust our surroundings, or you know, adjusting our outlook in order to fit in where we are. And so to me, when I see peaceful among the thorns, it just makes me think of like this. It makes me think of that meme where you see like the dog, the cartoon dog, sitting in the chair and everything is on fire around him, and he's like, I'm fine. Or the one where, oh my God, what is that little kid from The Simpsons where he was like, you know, I'm in danger. Like, it makes me think of that, of kind of like everything is falling apart around you, and you're still like, okay, this is perfectly fine. I know how to deal with this. I know how to live through this. And it's like, okay, that's great that you do, I guess, but you shouldn't have to. Like, you don't have to deal with this. You do know you can move on. You don't have to sit here in discomfort in order to make other people comfortable, or, you know, to live, to thrive. Like, you're living, but you're not actually thriving right now. And then you also have fated to suffer. Oh, that sucks. This makes me think of Snow White, the witch giving her the apple. And then you also have fragmentation. So there's like some faking, some masking. Look, the child was meant to be, again, underneath Queen of My World. Sacrifice. Yep, guilt or regret. So to me, this just kind of reads of kind of like there's whatever this relationship that you are dealing with that you have not confronted, that you are refusing to kind of like you are refusing to have a conversation with this person, or you can't have a conversation with this person. Maybe there is some financial withholding going on in this as well. um, yeah, it's like I don't have the best advice for that one, seriously, because this is so many different ways people can, um, you know, that'll help them kind of deal with this and snap out of it. I'm not gonna have the best advice because, especially for a general reading, it's on a, you know, base by base thing. But I think there is some room here to say that, or to at least let you know that you don't have to be like, love doesn't have to be a struggle. Like, yes, we have to work at every relationship that we have. It's not going to come easy, but it doesn't mean that it has to be painful. It doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be some kind of like mental gymnastics that you have to flip through every day. It isn't something that should make you feel constricted and small, broken. pile four. So whatever this relationship that you're kind of dealing with, I will say, you know, I may not have the best advice on how you can get started because again, depending on what um, this traumatic issue that you're going with in this relationship that you're having, um, you know, it depends on who the situation is for. I definitely will tell you that you are deserving of more, and I hope you know that and that you can see that and that this starts to open your eyes to knowing that you deserve more and there's a whole world out there for you to explore, that you don't have to sit there in that one place, that you can be okay by yourself as well, to take that time to heal and mend and, you know, move forward and go on. So, yeah. Sorry, Power 4, if that was a bit triggering for you as well, if that was a bit too much for you. But, you know, I have to kind of give the advice that I am being given. So, yeah, hopefully you can kind of break out of this cycle and remove it so that it doesn't continue for, you know, hopefully if you don't, you know, hopefully if you have kids, it's not something that continue with them as well. So hopefully you find your strength in this. Maybe hopefully they can be your strength so that you can move out of that, because I know that is not something that is easy to ever get out of. I'm not going to act like it is. Um, so hopefully you can kind of hopefully you kind of start to figure out, or someone helps you, or you kind of see your way through this and everything to the light. So with that, Power 4, I definitely wish you the best of luck. I definitely want you to know that you are worthy of so much more and that you can have so much more and that you are so much more. And don't let someone tell you anything different. So yes, with that, Power 4, I'm going to wrap it up here. I thank you for coming in and watching this video. I hope this gives you, again, a starting point or where you can kind of start looking more inward when it comes to your shadow work. So, you know, it can help you through the month of May. So it sets you up for, you know, more positive things coming in. You know, clean out the clutter to let in the high vibrational things that we want to manifest and so forth. With that, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and I'm gonna wrap it up here. Next week, I don't know what I'm gonna do a video on. I'll figure it out. You'll see it come up. It'll be scheduled. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching Lotus Mage. You have a great night or a great day wherever you are, and I will see you all on the next video. Instead of like thinking long term, I think there may be something from your past that's kind of like kept you restricted or restrained in some kind of sort of way. But there is some work here that has to be done, or maybe that you need to pay attention to that you haven't addressed. There's something, maybe it's something of kind of like breaking a familiar curse or something like that along those lines. And let's see. Gotta move these boxes before I knock something all over the place and then it's cards everywhere. So let's see if